Cock 45 here. Ooh, 270 Winchester. Model 54. Must be a celebration of some kind. Yeah, we'll celebrate by banging the gong right away. How's that? Yeah. How about a watermelon right here? Yeah, let's get where we don't hit that steel. How's that for starting out the celebration? The 100th anniversary of the Model 54. Winchester Model 54. Pretty cool, huh? And also the 100th anniversary of that fine cartridge we mostly know and love, the Winchester, the 270 Winchester, right? So that's what we're about today. I just felt like it was, I would be really neglecting my duties if I didn't do something this year with the 270 and also the Model 54 Winchester, if that were possible. You know, I'm not a hunter, so I don't have a lot of these things at my disposal. I don't have, I don't shoot, I didn't own a 270. I'm sorry, I've admitted that before, I think. We have, I don't know, we did a video on one or two somewhere along the way. So, to atone for my sins, I bought this one. Yep. And I just so I could celebrate the round, the firearm. Jack O'Connor, we'll probably say something nice about him in the video because it has been 100 years since the Model 54 came about for Winchester. 1925, that would make it. In the same year, they chambered it in the 270. Okay, so it was introduced in the 30-06 and the 270s, I understand pretty much. In 1925, 100 years ago. And this one happened to be made a year later. See, what is a year later? 1926. I know my math, yeah. So we got an old gun here we're going to shoot a little bit and talk a little bit about that. I'm not going to tell you everything you wanted to know because I don't know enough to tell you everything you wanted to know, but I know a little bit about this gun, a little bit about the cartridge, a little bit about Jack O'Connor perhaps. We'll touch on it all in a 30-second video. How's that? No, I don't know about that. But anyway, yeah, I want to thank the people that help us, which makes this possible. You know, Gallery of Guns, Davidson's Gallery of Guns, where you get guaranteed lifetime replacement on the firearms you purchase there. Great outfit, great people. Same with Southwest Central. Good company, good people. They make those fine Banish suppressors you see around here. So appreciate them. And the Sonoran Desert Institute, sdi.edu, check them out. Go see what you can learn about drones or firearms, all kinds of things. Sonoran Desert Institute. Now, like I said, I bought this one, but I don't hunt. I got a lot of guns, and I'm going to donate this to the Tennessee Firearms Association for their auction in a couple months in September. So if you're a member of the TFA here in Tennessee, you can watch for this at the banquet auction. I think it's September 6th. I can't make it. I have a conflict again, but I'll donate this. I've already told John Harris. But I just really, I felt obligated. I'm sorry. Yeah, 270. You know, like I said, I don't hunt. I doing some research, just trying to get a better feel for it. I tell you, there are a lot of people who are really smart about ballistics. I'm smart about the weather because it's about 100 degrees today and really humid, so I'll be wiping my eyes out here and there, just so I can still see you. I don't want to not be able to see you all. But the 270 has an incredible reputation as a cartridge, a hunting cartridge. And it's a 27 caliber, right, basically. And it has been used since 1925 very successfully. I have friends who hunt with it. I'm sure you do as well. One thing I've learned is from just reading, watching a couple of videos on the 270, several actually. There's some disagreement on how good it is. Really, I've always heard it was like the cat's meow, the ultimate hunting cartridge, and it is in some ways, but it's not necessarily the best cartridge for every single thing. But it is a wonderful cartridge. Ballistically, the ballistic coefficients and all of that, it's just a very, very nice cartridge, especially, deer, sheep. That's what Jack OConnor loved it for, especially hunting sheep. He loved to hunt sheep. And deer, I don't know, maybe a mule deer, I don't know, maybe an elk on occasion if you had to, whatever, depending on your bullets. So it all comes down to the bullets you're using and that sort of thing, right? I won't pretend to know more about hunting. I won't step on somebody else's game here because I don't know that much about hunting. I do shoot a lot, but I just am too lazy to hunt. So, but anyway, a wonderful cartridge. It really is. And Jack OConnor wrote a lot about it. I did see a very knowledgeable fellow talking about Jack OConnor, indicating how people have the wrong impression. A lot of people do, that he just thought this was the ultimate cartridge and that's all he used essentially and all that kind of. It's really not the case. He was very fond of the 375 H&H. He used bigger chamberings quite often and smaller, but this was one of his favorite go-to cartridges, I guess, for hunting sheep especially and that kind of thing. But it's like anything, once it gets well known or famous, and people, and he was a famous gun writer for Outdoor Life, for decades and decades, I guess, and did tout, the round, promote the round, and so people remember, that about him. But yeah, he was fond of a lot of other rounds as well. But anyway, so we're kind of celebrating Jack OConnor and the 270 and this rifle. So the round is very fast. I think the initial this is just some I picked up. I didn't have any. This is some, PPU. They make a lot of different rounds, don't they? And I think the initial loading, this is 150 grain, they were 130 grain, and they would truck along at 3,100 feet per second. So that's pretty powerful. Now these are 150. And so I just picked up something to shoot. I wanted to be able to shoot, right? And that's it. It's supposedly a neck down 30-06. Somebody said it was a neck based on the 30-03, that came out, but I think most people pretty much say. So the one on your right is a 30-06, and on the left you got the 270. Okay, and they created it. They necked it down. They made it so it would not chamber in a 30-06 chamber. Okay, just for safety reasons. Yeah. So a great round, just all around. Comes in a lot of different loadings. So like I say, I know people that use it and hunt regularly. Now the gun itself, the Winchester, the reason I have, this is the predecessor to the Model 70, so I have that out here. We may do a separate video there, but it kind of grew out of the .03 Springfield, or the Mauser. Now Winchester had made some bolt guns, I guess in the 1800s, late 1800s, with the Lee, and let's see, straight pull, and what else? They had a Hotchkiss, 4570 and some other chambering, but those were never that popular. And I think they kind of died off after the turn of the century, 1900 or so. But what they did was they kind of took this Mauser action from, this is the .03 Springfield, which basically has the Mauser action right in that bolt. They took that, and you can see the similarities, I'll bet even you can see it. If I can see it, see, you got essentially a Mauser bolt with that big claw and everything. And so, you couldn't go wrong using the Mauser bolt, could you? And they made it a little slimmer, more streamlined, sporting rifle. Not meant to be a military rifle, of course, like the .03 Springfield here. And one thing they did, I'll talk about the negatives, but so they based it on the Mauser action. You can't do any better than that, even today, right? And now the things they didn't retain were, this got the cutoff, where you can cut off for one cartridge, and then also the bolt release in terms of pulling the bolt out of the Mauser, where you push a little button on the side. They didn't do that. But they did kind of retain this safety back here, 3-position safety. But you know what's a little confusing? The .03 Springfield, and I think the Mauser's somewhere, right? When it's safe right now, over to the right. Okay, it will not fire. Now when this one's over to the right, it will fire. This one is safe when it's over to the left. So something to remember, right? And that is one of the negatives about it. Let's not praise it too big, because they later fixed a lot of this, right? In the Model 70, I heard you say it right, in the Model 70, which came out in about 1937. This was made from 25 to 36, 37. And there's some negatives that were improved later. It's got a one-piece magazine floor here. It's all the trigger guard and the floor of the magazine is all one piece. It doesn't open up, so you cannot open up and get your shells out from the bottom or anything, or clean it. Isn't that wild? Now it's got a screw, but that's just holding the whole thing on there, the 3 screws. So just a piece of metal. So that's kind of interesting in the old days, old school. And has a 2-stage trigger. That was not as desirable. I think some people liked it and others did not. And as I was talking about the safety, I was reminded, back in 25, there were not many people that interested in scoping out their rifle, with a telescopic sight. And so it wasn't on everybody's mind, like, see this safety and all that. You got a scope that's mounted as low as you can get it. Well, you got that safety is kind of to operate that. That's kind of in the way. And also the bolt, the bolt handle comes way up there. So those are things that they were not a big issue until telescopes on rifles became more, telescopic sights became more, prevalent, which was, 10, 20 years later, I guess. I think Weaver and some others maybe came out early on with some telescopic sights that were inexpensive enough that a lot of just average hunters were interested in it, And what are some other negatives about it? It was designed to just use open sights, metal sights like I like, or an aperture sight, so it wasn't designed for that. Now, one thing you'll notice, a lot of them, this one's had work done on the stock. Another reason I got a better buy on it, maybe. And it wasn't just damage, probably. It was, a friend of mine looked at it and said, yeah, and then from my reading too, there was probably some sort of aperture sight or some sight that they had, I don't know, worked on, and they cut that out so they could install it, or they messed up the stock so much, somebody fixed it at some point and thought that looked, I don't know, but it was probably related to mounting a sight in some way. It wasn't just random damage, is my guess. So 270 WCF, yeah, I couldn't see it, looked like a different letter. So Winchester centerfire, that's what they marked them with early on. Okay, so 270, it came in a lot of different chamberings. 22 Hornet all the way up, I don't know, 7mm, right? I mean, just a lot of chamberings. And but it was famous for the 270, initially being a 270 and a 30-06. Jack O'Connor bought one in 270, pretty much like this one, the year it came out. Okay, and that set him on a course of love for the 270. And many of you like it as well. You have a 270 right there in your gun safe. You really do. Others of you think it's overblown, it's not as great as everybody pretends it is. And I'm not going to argue, because I don't know. I haven't shot enough of it to know. And I would have to have shot a lot to have a real strong opinion one way or the other, and hunted a lot with it, and that kind of thing. So that's what I've got here. What else about it? They made about 50,000 of them, I believe, in the Model 54 before they went to the Model 70, which is a slicked up version of that. We'll spend a little time with that maybe as well. Can I shoot it again before I make you go? I had a butt pad to extend it. It's got a really short stock, and it makes it difficult for a big old dude like me. It really does. Left it over at the house and started to go back and get it. I said, nah, let me tough it out. These people are tired of seeing a rubber butt plate on a classic rifle like this anyway. I'll just be a tough guy and see if I can manage to shoot it the way it is, okay? I just won't put on any shooting exhibitions like I could ever do that, right? Oh, I don't know. Let's shoot that coffin down in the holler if I can. Pooey, how about that turkey down there in the holler? Probably went over it. This is Jack O'Connor's favorite turkey gun, right? Well, I don't know where I'm going. I'm going to quit wasting ammo on that. Let me shoot a bowling pin right here. And then put another one on the gong. Did I miss that too? I had some difficulties with my elevation before we started. I took a couple of shots, and I was having to take a really fine bead. So let me try that again. There we go. I think I heard that one. So anyway, the model Winchester 54 in 270, 100 years. 100 years ago this year, this rifle, well, not this specific rifle, but this model was made, okay? And then this one was made in 26. And I've got a call in to Alabama Holster. They're gonna make me a holster for this thing, a scabbard. You believe that? Don't believe it, just kidding. But I also want to thank Alabama Holster for their support of the channel. The most wonderful little Kydex concealment holsters. Jack O'Connor probably didn't have one, but I sure do, and I know a lot of you all do, so we appreciate Alabama Holster support. And for those who like wood and steel rifles or handguns, this is right up your alley, isn't it? Just a classic. This is one of the classics, Model 54. I had never owned one. This is the first one that I've ever owned, and I'm going to give it away. But at least I've had a chance to shoot one now. So I can say that, right? I can brag about having fired a Model 54 in that classic chambering 270. So let us know what you think. What's your opinion of the 270? Okay, do you use it a lot? Do you use it part of the time? Do you read Jack O'Connor? Have you ever heard of Jack O'Connor? Is that somebody you just thought played for the Green Bay Packers? Nope, he was a gun writer and a hunter, and hunted all over the world, as I understand, and he was a proponent of the 270, among other things. So glad you come out for the celebration. 100 years. I promise I'm not going to do one in 200 or another 100 years. I will not do the 200th anniversary, I promise. You've had enough of me, right? Life is good.
Oh yeah, that's better. This is a great gun for defense. Oh hey, didn't see you guys there. While I've got you here, I want to remind you of our friends over at Talon Grips and Ballistol. Talon Grips makes grips, can you believe it, for all different types of firearms. You can get rough texture or more of a rubberized texture. It just sticks right on there. You know, really affordable, really cool option to improve the grip for your handguns or rifles. So please check them out at talongungrips.com. You'll be glad you did. And also Ballistol. Dad has been using Ballistol for many years. It's a cleaner and a lubricant, and it's non-toxic. It works really great, and we're happy to have them on board since it's been a part of our shooting endeavor for a very long time. So go to ballistol.com, talongungrips.com. And also, while you're out there, I'm juggling all these things here. Also, while you're on the internet, please do check out our other social media like Hickok45 on Facebook. There's also Hickok45 on Twitter, The Real Hickok45 on Instagram. There's a John_Hickok45 on Instagram where I do some things. There's Hickok45.com. You can find us also on Gunstreamer. So check out all that stuff and then watch more videos.